Hey guys, this is undercoverdudes all the way from down under, and today we're going to be talking about the biggest Combat Arms update ever. So on the Combat Arms Line of Sight website, where it basically says Combat Arms Line of Sight has been cancelled, about 3/4 down the page, it goes and says this. We are aiming high for our Combat Arms players. That is why we have decided that we need to focus primarily on them and on the game they already love. As we are speaking, our teams are hard at work to prepare the biggest update in the history of the game, bringing to life exciting new features and much awaited improvements to existing content. Now, what is the biggest Combat Arms update ever? And to be perfectly honest, I've got absolutely no idea, so I can't go and answer that question. But I can go and have a little bit of a prediction, maybe a little bit of hope of what the biggest Combat Arms update could be. But I'll talk about that a little bit later on in the video. Now let's go and talk about what Nexon's doing right now to Combat Arms. Basically, they want to go and make the game more competitive. They want to go and strip back the layers of Combat Arms and get right to the core gameplay and focus on that. And that is a very risky, but a very ballsy decision. And I'm not going to go and say if it's good or bad until I go in game and actually see the new changes implemented. But in theory, it sounds good. But what they are doing is quite drastic. They are going to be removing Bootcamp, Forge, and Customize. They are going to completely nerf Assassins, Specialists, and Operatives. Basically make them on par to Mercenaries. They're going to really go ahead with the crouch spam change and make it so you can't crouch spam throughout the whole game. And this has gone and really polarized the Combat Arms community. Well, what is left of it. It's really gone to polarize because they are making some very big changes very late into the cycle of Combat Arms' lifespan. So they really want to go and make this game competitive. They are going to be changing up a lot of stuff, and their focus is on equality. They want to make it so everybody has equal footing, but then they put in the instant respawn where you can respawn 100 times in a match as soon as you die. That isn't equality. Are they going to go and remove that? Are they going to go and remove dual scorpions? Are they going to go and remove OP weapons? I don't know. But it seems very drastic in terms of the game features. And then in terms of other elements, they're lacking a little bit behind in their ethos. But whatever. We shall go and see that in the future. But basically, as I said before, they're trying to go and make the game more competitive. But is this going to actually go and work out? Is this actually going to go and have a positive impact on Combat Arms? Probably is going to have a positive impact on Combat Arms. Going and stripping back to the core values of the game, what we felt in 2010, 2012, that's absolutely fantastic. But is it going to go and change the destiny of Combat Arms? Because at the moment, I'll go and paint it out for you guys. Anybody that has gone and quit Combat Arms still think Combat Arms is a lag-filled, hacker-filled game with OP weapons. Every former Combat Arms player still thinks Combat Arms is like that. But the players right now know that isn't so true. But a lot of people quitting for games like Overwatch, a lot of people quitting for games like Counter-Strike Global Offensive. What can Nexon do to go and revitalize Combat Arms? Well, you implement the biggest change ever, the biggest update ever. And the biggest update ever is not going to be a competitive revamp. That will do basically nothing to go and draw people in. It will go and make the existing player base pretty happy, but it won't draw people in. What will go and draw people in? And I was talking to a couple people about this, and I came to the conclusion that if you really wanted to go and change Combat Arms, if you really wanted to go and make a splash, you have to go and change the core gameplay. You have to make Combat Arms not Combat Arms, because Combat Arms right now has a stigma behind it, and the only way to shake the stigma is to go and change Combat Arms completely so it isn't, its former self. It sounds really weird, but it makes sense when you think about it. And how to go and do that? How can Nexon go and do that? You do an engine update. You do a gameplay update. You update Combat Arms for 2016. You port it over to the Source engine, or the Source 2 engine. You port it over to the Unreal Engine, whatever. You completely update this game. You make this game 2016 worthy, and then people may come back to it. Because if you see such a drastic change in a game that you once played, more than likely people are going to go back to it. More than likely people are going to have a try. And then you have them on the edge of your little fishing rod. You've got your one chance to go out and reel them in. But if you screw that up, they are never going to go and touch your game again. And that has basically been throughout the history of combat arms for the past couple of years. People have left, there's nothing that's been there to reel them in, and they've just gone and done other stuff with their lives and whatnot. But that is what I believe the biggest update should be. A complete change in terms of graphics and gameplay. And if it is a competitive update, as I said before, it's going to go and make the game a lot better for the existing people, but people are not going to go back to it, because if you want it competitive, you play Counter-Strike Global Offensive. It's that simple, and it's hard to go and see how combat arms can go and make a splash in that type of way when they can't even go and make a splash in what their game is basically around, which is an arcade shooter where you run around and shoot people, to be perfectly honest. But saying all that, let's go and take a step back and let's have a look to the future. Hopefully Nexon goes and provides the goods, and if they do, good onto them. It'll go and draw people in, and it'll keep the existing people still playing, they will keep playing. But if the update is bad, the biggest update ever, if it's bad, people just have even less faith and more people go and leave the game. And that is a little bit sad. So it's a bit of a do or die situation, but I like that they're taking the initiative. That is absolutely fantastic. But other than that, it's Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under, out.